So this is my exhibition critique on the National Mexican Museum of Art. This exhibition was curated by Chief Curator Cesario Monroe. He's been a curator at the museum since 1992 and is responsible for numerous exhibitions, including this one. The name of the exhibition is Nuestras Historias, Stories of Mexican Identity. This permanent collection has been open since 2014. The exhibition is located in the National Museum of Mexican Art at 1852 West 19th Street, Chicago, Illinois 60619. This exhibition is available for view Tuesdays through Sundays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I feel like the name Nuestras Historias, the story of Mexican identity, does provide a good amount of context about what the exhibition itself is going to showcase. In cases of like artwork, it obviously is going to represent art pieces of Mexican culture and identity by the name. The thesis of this exhibition is that culture identity is something that is continuously evolving across regions and communities. Mexican identity is not a singular, linear history, but a diverse and evolving cultural phenomenon. The exhibition aims to showcase the many stories of Mexican identity across North America. I feel like this thesis does cover the overall goal and theme of the exhibition itself because of the artwork essentially that is displayed, such as different technologies that were used in earlier civilizations and folktales that have been used to keep civilizations alive. So the audience that this exhibition was made for is the culture group that the exhibition represents itself, which is Chicano and Latino and indigenous communities, so they can see that their own culture and history is preserved and somewhere safe. I would say the second target audience would obviously be anybody that wants to come in and learn about Latin American culture and embrace it. The poster picture used to represent the exhibition is The Legend of the Volcanoes, which, at first glance, if you've never heard about the story between the two lovers, then it could be a little confusing. However, if you pay attention to the details, specifically the type of clothing that they're wearing, they can be identified with Mexican culture. The Aztec warrior, who I will call Popo because I cannot pronounce his name, is wearing traditional warrior clothing and other ceremonial elements like a feathered headdress, and the princess is wearing a white dress. However, if you do not know the background knowledge of their love story, then yes, you would not really know what the theme of the exhibit is by first glance. I'm gonna butcher the names of the mountains so bad because I don't speak Spanish, but this is an Aztec legend of the two volcanoes, Popocatépetl and Izatachulia, who were said to be a warrior, Aztecian warrior, and a princess who fell in love and who are said to transformed into mountains together after both of them tragically died together. This exhibition features over 10,000 artifacts spanning from ancient Mexico to the present day. So this is the first artifact that I found most interesting. It's basically a original oil sketch by an anonymous painter that goes back to the 18th century. It was credited to the permanent collection as a gift by Daniel and Mary Haley. The reason that this painting piqued my interest was because it was anonymous, and the fact that it evoked so much emotion and has such vivid expressions and symbolism, and this person will never get credited for this work and acknowledged on the fact that their emotions are valid and what they were going through at that time. The second artifact would be the Holy Trinity, which was created in 1759 by Jose de Paez. The artifact is an oil painting on copper. It was credited to the permanent collection in 2009 as a gift from the Keoning family in trust of memory of Robert W. and Mary Ellen Keoning. This artifact piqued my interest because it shows the sheer effect of how colonialism's force of religion on the people affected them and how they now go throughout their everyday lives. The third artifact that I chose was Bob Hart, created in 2001 by Fundacio Duran, which was given to the permanent collection in 2012 as a gift of a memorial of the artist. The reason I chose this artifact as my third piece to represent was because I don't know, like it felt like very homey and community wise, and the way of how she's teaching her kids how to pick the flowers off the plant, like something that would be ultimately passed down through their children in tradition and learning how to harvest crops and stuff like that. It's just a nice family moment in my opinion. I feel as though the clear theme of community and Mexican identity is very blatantly communicated through this picture of quite literally community and family coming together and doing something that would benefit everybody. So the last and final artifact that I chose was RSI, Repetitive Strain Injury, which was created in 2000 by Marcos Raya and was bought and put into the permanent collection in 2016. And the purchase was made possible by a donation from Mariah C. Belchi and Scott Hayes. This installation considers a typical urban immigrant experience of working in factories alongside the city's industrial corridors. Like countless other immigrants, Marcos Raya moved to Chicago when it was nearly impossible to avoid working in the industrial sectors. Repetitive stress injuries, or RSI, were often sustained by industrial workers who repeated the same motions day in and day out. Employed like machinery parts, factory laborers in Chicago had difficult lives and worked in grimy, unstandardized conditions in order to achieve the American dream. I feel like this artifact right here is I chose this one because I can agree with it. Like I can relate to it also as a Black American, having to work in different unorthodox and like really unethical work conditions in order to achieve the livable wages of the American dream, which is ultimately for most people of color check by check. Though that's not the American dream that they pictured, it's the unfortunate reality, but ultimately they're still surviving. So these are two pictures, one of early Mesoamerica, and it basically shows a bunch of old cities and old settlements where the Aztec people were. And the other map shows Mexico until 1848, which was up until the point of colonialized Mexico. For accessibility, wheelchairs and cane stools are available free of charge at the reception desk for your use during your visit. Supplies are limited and are available on a first come, first serve basis. Unfortunately, while you're walking around the exhibit itself, there aren't any seating areas so you can take a rest, but the accessible main entrance to the museum is located on 19th Street. The drop-off is located in the front of the museum with a curb cut. This could be useful for people in wheelchairs. There are also 3 sets of doors located on the east and the far right that are equipped with automatic door openers for anybody that can't open a door for themselves. After entering the front door, guests can use the stairs on the left or the ramp on the right, which leads to the lobby and the reception desk. The museum offers sensory kits that can be checked out free of charge for visitors. The sensory bags includes fidgets, ear defenders, sunglasses, and an activity sheet to help you explore the museum. Normally you can go to the front desk and just ask for it, but alternatively you could email their Gmail and ask for information. Visual descriptions of highlighted pieces and stories of Mexican identity from permanent collections are available at the reception desk. These descriptions provide visitors who are low of vision or blind an opportunity to experience the works of the gallery through detailed descriptions of color, consumption, and style, or other visual elements in the artworks. Visual descriptions can be read by an accompanied guest. However, the large-size text is also designed to be read by someone with low vision, assisted by digital readers on a mobile device. Service animals are welcome inside the museum. Pets are not allowed that are not registered as service animals. Admissions to the museum are always free. You normally just walk in and you go to the front desk. They ask you to sign in with your Gmail and stuff, and you're able to free any exhibit for free. But they do accept donations and encourage you to go to the gift shop. And it's very beautiful. I got me a little mini Maria, and she's on my backpack, and I love her so much. I personally did not take CTA to get there. I drove, but I know the most available, accessible CTA line closest nearby is the Pink Line. The NMMA is running a capital development campaign called Art for All that has a target of $20.2 million. Through this campaign, they've raised nearly $17 million from board members and other donors. National Endowment for the Arts, NEA, gave a grant to the museum of $35,000 for the permanent gallery exhibition. This money would go towards updating the Nuestras Historias exhibition and improving other exhibitions while improving display panels and other new technologies. So my overall rating for the museum is a 10 out of 10. The accessibility and the way that it was thematically set out in place with each artwork was very beautiful. I appreciate it. The exhibition was also a 10 out of 10. I definitely would recommend it to everybody who wants to learn about Mesoamerican, Aztecian culture, and Mexican culture, and Hispanic culture.